welcome back to another episode of the You Like That podcast. Joined with me, Adam.
I'm Jack.
Yeah, I don't know why I said joined with. I sort of already fucked that up.
I really thought you were going to introduce me first, so I was just like getting ready to jump in, and then you just took it.
Yeah. Put it this way, last week we completely forgot to introduce ourselves anyway.
Yeah, we did it at the end.
So I'm already a little bit frazzled as to what an introduction is for this and how to say our names. But we're here again, and we're here with something a little bit different this week.
Where, you really ran with this one.
Yeah, I thought, fuck it. This is something that can work because we're going into the horror genre of the last decade of movies. So how does horror go with you?
Well, when I first started identifying myself as a movie guy, as Jack, he likes movies. I was like, I'm going to be the horror guy. I'm going to be the 80s horror guy. That's going to be me.
Yeah.
So I spent years just watching 80s horror movies, falling in love with them. My favorite movie of all time is Evil Dead 2, but I don't really know that much about horror.
Yeah.
And I just haven't kept up with it, I guess.
Yeah.
What about yourself? What's your relationship with horror?
I've always been a fucking little bitch with scary shit.
Yep.
And I still am to this day. Like, if I'm here by myself and let's say I hear fucking something outside, like the wind moving the trees or something, I'll fucking freak out and think someone's walking around my house coming to fucking stab me or something.
Yeah, right.
That's where I'm at with them. But as a kid, I always wanted to watch horror movies, and I never looked into the older, like you do with the 80s style horrors and that. I haven't seen too many of them, like your Evil Deads, the original Evil Deads, fucking the old classic horrors that were definitely different to today's horror movies.
Yeah, and even what I like about those is not so much the horror.
Yeah.
It's the cool, you hear me crap on about it all the time, is all the cool practical stuff, like all the horrific prosthetics and stuff. I really like that side of it.
Yeah.
Not so much being scared.
Yeah.
Per se.
It definitely were really well-made movies back then because it was a lot of more practical and there was no big CGI to make a monster. It was literally like, let's fucking make a monster and someone has to be in that
Put a dude in a suit.
And it fucking worked. And because you hear your parents talk about some old horror movies, like even when Jaws came out, people thought that was a horror movie. And back then, that was fucking scary for them. And very different to how it is now, because if you have any of the younger generation go back watch these movies, they'd be like, it's fucking shit.
It's cheesy, it's slow, it's like...
I can fucking see he's in the suit. It's just terrible.
And we'll get into this, is horror movies these days, it's just jump scare every 6 minutes because the kids in their Vine and their Twitter and their...
all them TikToks,
Yeah, exactly.
But so today we're going to just jump into horror movies of the last decade, just sort of see where horror movies go wrong, where these franchises come from, the budgets, box office, why people don't want to see them, all that good stuff. I just feel like it's a very interesting genre in the film industry, and
definitely.
It has a lot of things wrong with it and a lot of things bad with it.
It's the dump to Netflix genre, because more than any other genre of movie, even shitty action movies, every single horror movie just gets dumped on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think regardless of quality.
It's definitely the big thing with all these streaming companies now, is that they just sort of branch out and license their own sort of movies and be like, let's just load up on something and just have it on here as an exclusive. And that's sort of...
Don't have to pay for distribution or publishing if you just put it on your own platform.
Definitely saves a budget, and I don't know if that's a big detriment to why horror is where it is now. Because it definitely
we'll
seems like that.
Because it fucking is.
So, when we look at these horror movies, what is it that... How do I say it? What makes someone want to go and see a fucking horror movie?
Well... I guess to be scared, it's why would you get on a roller coaster?
Yeah.
Why would you jump out of a plane? You want that adrenaline. You want to be scared for a couple of hours, and then you want to be able to walk back out to real life and there's no ghost hunting you or whatever.
Hopefully. Or the good. Ideally, that's good, but sometimes you want to walk out and be like, well, maybe I will get fucking stabbed tonight. I don't know.
And then like
could happen.
The walk back to your car is like, oh, I'm still kind of on edge.
So very simple. That's what it is you want in a horror movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's story. I don't think it's a certain actor or anything. I think it is just to see what the gimmick is, what the killer is, what the gory death traps are going to be. You know, whatever. Like it's not. Oh, I want to know what's happening in the Conjuring universe. Like, it's just an umbrella. Yeah.
So with that sort of says, so why do so many of these films have the ability to flop and just not deliver on anything?
Suck ass.
There's just so fucking much. Like last night I went and watched the new Netflix one, The Girl on the Third Floor.
Okay. I haven't even heard of that.
it's just recently been going around. Everyone's been like, oh, it's fucking so scary. It gives you the standard, oh, Netflix just put out the scariest horror movie that everyone's ever seen. People are just not being able to sleep and shit. That is the one fucking thing that I think is ruining horror in a way, is everyone, all these journalist blogs and that on the internet just going, oh, this movie came out and everyone's saying it's the scariest thing ever, and they just create this unneeded hype for it.
Yeah. Well, what started me on forcing my opinion on people and starting my Instagram account was one of those headlines. It was for the Spanish movie. I think it's called Veronica or something. And the headline was like, oh my God, it'll make you kill your children. You're so scared. And then I watched it and I was like, this is garbage. It's like a bad Conjuring movie.
Yeah.
And the ghost was just a dude in a black morph suit. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start an Instagram page for like just dunking on movies and making fun of them. And then it obviously evolved into what it is now. Us sitting here right now.
And just fully discussing it.
But yeah, so like...
Is it just a bad marketing ploy?
I think Netflix must be in bed with like the Daily Mail or whatever.
Surely.
Because it's seriously everyone. Like Eli, Oculus, all of that shit, it has always had that headline of...
I think I've watched near all of the movies that those blogs have come out and said this is the scariest shit ever. And I've watched them, I've gone, what?
Yeah, it works. It does get you to watch it.
But
it makes you fucking angry because you're like, well, I'm a dickhead because I fell for it. Like,
yeah. Now they've got that one extra stream to say, oh, yep, did good in all this. And it's like, no, I fucking hate you.
And then, they can see this is how many eyes saw it. Let's just make another one.
Yeah. So I think Netflix is just a big issue in general for all this. Like, it's that, or is the horror genre just a safe option for people to make a movie?
Budget-wise, it is, I think. Because you can definitely make horror on the cheap.
Budget-wise, it's definitely a big one. That's the sort of the big thing I was looking at when looking into some of the bigger movies and that. Fuck, like no budget rarely ever spans over $20 million. Yes. It's so easy.
Depending on when you release them, like if you line it up with school holidays or, as not as big as it should be in Australia, but Halloween, if you release something on Halloween, then you're going to get teenagers through that fucking door and you'll get more than your money back.
You get enough,
easily.
Yeah. Like when you look at, so comparing a few, most of the movies in the Conjuring universe, the most I spent on one was $40 million. That was for the Conjuring 2.
Yeah.
The rest,
and you can kind of tell because the end of that movie is like a big, loud nightmare.
The rest of them is like the first one, $20 million. Annabelle was 6.5. Annabelle Creation, 15. The Nun was 22. And the latest one, Comes Home, was 27.
Yeah.
So they're all very around there.
And that's easy to make back. Like,
very easy for them.
For a horror movie, piece of piss.
If you distribute it worldwide, out of every cinema that screens it, that's enough there.
100%.
To get that weekend rake in, and then, boom, there you go.
Let's get those teenagers in.
Like we're saying with The Invisible Man, that's just under $60 million.
Yeah.
And they got like 30 in the first weekend against that $7 million budget that it had. But all of them all follow suit. The Insidious series are all less than $10 million each. Hereditary, $10 million. Get Out, 4.5. They all just follow the same trend of how much they're spending on this movie.
It's just what you do with it.
It's what you do with it.
Yeah. Because some of them, a lot of that budget were going to fucking marketing.
Yeah.
As we were saying, like, Jesus Christ, the that last Insidious movie, I think it's called the something key.
The Last Key.
The Last Key.
Yeah.
Just trailers everywhere for that
was
movie.
a lot.
All over YouTube, like just everywhere. And then it looks horribly cheap. It looks really cheap.
And for something that's very focused around demons
Because
as well.
it probably was, yeah.
It wasn't like a slasher, just a guy in a suit. No, the last one was full, like, we've got ghosts, we've got demons.
You don't need to put $1 trillion into a spooky CG ghost.
Yeah.
You just have to put it somewhere. Get better actors or better writers or something.
I think that's where the budget will fail into it, but it's like you don't see big actors coming into horror movies.
Very rarely.
It is very, very rare that there will be a big time actor going, yeah, all right, I'll take on that role.
It's always just that one guy.
They'll be lucky
the main
to
guy
spare,
the main guy from The Conjuring is in every fucking movie. What's his name? Patrick something?
Oh,
he's also in Aquaman.
Yeah.
Patrick.
That guy. And I think the wife as well, she's in a fair bit as well.
Vera Farmiga.
That's the one. The weird fucking name. And her fucking sister, her sister who's in The Nun, who plays the young girl in The Nun. They're actually sisters.
American
in real
Horror
life.
Story as well. Yeah.
And I'm like, the fuck? But okay, sure, go for it. You'll never find those big actors wanting to be like, yeah, right, I can see myself doing that. Like, could you imagine Jason Statham in Insidious?
No, absolutely not.
Fucking buff-ass British guy getting chased by a demon. Are you fucking sure?
It's like,
you want to fucking come at me with your fucking key hands? I don't fucking think so.
Just doing like fucking karate in an empty hallway.
Just slicing fucking demons down left, right, and center. But yeah, I think it'll definitely increase the budget if you had to bring on bigger actors.
Yeah,
for sure,
definitely.
So I don't know. When I'm watching horror movies, I want a good plot.
Yeah,
in a horror movie.
Yeah,
and I think that's where a lot of them lack as well.
That's why I watch movies. It's like to get sucked into a story.
Yeah, but are they just too hard to make in a horror?
I suppose.
Because the way it goes, it's harder to make something where it's not as realistic as like your action and comedies and that, where, you know, real shit can happen. This is all straight off the mind, out of the imagination.
That should be easier because you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, but then it doesn't resonate with.
Yeah, and some of them try and get stuck in rules of like, well, if this was happening in real life, it wouldn't happen in real life. Just do something fucking mad. Yeah, like just go crazy with it.
Go balls to the wall and
wrap a story around that.
Yeah, because...
And a lot of them are just like retreadings of old urban legends, and they try and like make them cool again or whatever.
Yeah, there's too much like that. But you think with having such creativity to be able to create something different and new, you should be able to create something that will make people go, "Oh, that's fucking different and new."
But A Nightmare on Elm Street, like the idea is a guy kills you in your dreams and you die in real life.
Yeah,
and they got 8 fantastic movies out of that. Well, 7 and 1 pretty average one.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was the story. And then within that, they just created little characters designed to get killed. Like, make them as unlikable as possible. So when they get killed, the audience goes, oh, thank God.
Yeah. I don't know. Just the plots always seem to nearly almost follow the same sort of trend. In the way of it seems like there's not as much creativity as you think there should be when you think of the trend of how they try to make these plots pan out, where you look at your possession movies or anything like that. It's always going to be just this one person's possessed. These people come in, they get fucked up, demon goes. Yeah. And then there's like an ending of, the demon's still there.
Even that fucking Truth or Dare movie I watched, which is just an old party game. Like, how do you make Truth or Dare scary?
Please just explain to me more about it, because I still haven't watched that.
Playing Truth or Dare in real life is heaps scarier than a fucking movie, because like you have to like lick your own balls in front of your friends or something, you know? Truth or Dare is really scary. I don't ever want to play Truth or Dare. But what they did with that movie was, it was just an old Spanish curse or something. I stopped listening.
Oh,
but
really? Fuck.
And they like had to read a book and scream out this name, so the Truth or Dare demon. I fucking wish I was making this up. The Truth or Dare demon went away and the game was over.
Oh no!
Like, how did they get from Truth or Dare to that point? Like,
I remember
it felt like it was just two scripts lying around. They like had another old possession movie lying around.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, let's put this young person drinking game. Like slap that onto the front of it.
You think about it, truth or dare, that could just be a funny like college frat boy comedy movie.
Yeah, it could be like a Superbad movie. Just
Yeah.
like, and the dares get wider and wider.
It just
and
gets
then
really out
it
of
gets them in
hand.
trouble or whatever. Like,
But it's just always funny.
yeah.
You just put a young Jonah Hill in that, and then you're fucking sorted.
But instead, for some reason, it makes you kill yourself if you tell a lie.
With a Snapchat filter.
Yeah. And they even say in the movie it looked like a Snapchat filter. So they were aware of how stupid it looked.
It's just poor fucking
That they
writing.
wrote it in.
That's such fucking poor writing.
But yeah, it's just like, yeah, as you said, it's a formula. It's just...
It's a set formula, but
it's always a possession. It is always a fucking possession.
I don't know how they can get away with so
some.
many different possession movies. Because you think how many possession movies are out there? There's a movie that's just blatantly called The Possession.
The Possession. And then that, like, The Omen did it. Fucking...
There's that. You have the
Exorcist
movies.
did it
There's
2 years ago.
How many do you have that are called The Exorcist of?
Oh, God.
And the taking of, and it's always something very blatantly possession, and you're like, doesn't seem to be trying very hard. They can just seem to keep pumping them, and maybe 1 out of 6 might be good, and the rest are just like, what are you saying?
First Conjuring movie is quite good.
See, that's my least favorite.
Really?
I shat on The Conjuring when that first came out because the thing I hated about that movie is no one died.
Yeah, right.
No one in that movie died.
But it was actually like scary.
The black guy came close.
Well, that's just movies.
But
Movie's
he
gonna
didn't,
movie.
So I fucking hated that. But when the second one came out and they introduced the nun into it, I was like, ooh, that's a bit scary.
The
I got
second one
into
is
it.
great because of the real life story it's based
Yeah.
on, which is actually terrifying.
Yeah. Now, did the Conjuring universe go too far with their universe now?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. I saw the only movie I've only not reviewed 2 movies I've seen.
Yeah.
One was Venom because it's just, we've spoken about
Yeah,
that.
we've done that now,
I've
it's
said
fine.
my piece on that movie.
Yep.
And the second one was I went on a date to see The Nun, and the girl I was with was really fucking excited to see it. And I was just like, I don't want to like dunk on this movie so hard for this. Like, it was just a nice night out.
Yeah.
With someone I cared about.
Yeah.
But I was just seething the entire movie, just like, God, my thumbs are burning. I need to get this out
I
of
need
me.
to fucking write this shit.
Because
This is not
I
good.
think The Nun is definitely in the bottom 10 worst movies I've ever seen.
Fuck.
It is criminally bad.
See, at first I didn't mind it. I knew when I watched it, I'm like, that's not what I wanted from this movie. Because when they said,
Well, what did you want? Let's answer your own question.
I
What could you possibly want from a movie about a scary nun?
just something more, making sense about the whole situation. Because I feel like it's still danced around exactly who the nun was.
Because they were like, maybe we could get another one out of this.
Yeah, and they're trying to. They want to.
Yeah.
Because when they said, they're like, oh, we're doing the nun, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Because everyone was like, oh, the nun. Fucking scariest thing in The Conjuring. And she's fucking, I've got the mask. Have you seen my nun mask?
I don't want to.
Sitting in the bottom of that closet, and if I open it up, it's just going to sit there staring at you.
Great.
It's amazing. I was like, yeah, this is going to be fucking sick. You're going to get the nun. And then the movie came out, and I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that was cool. Got to see more of the nun, but
She didn't do much.
it was an origin story that didn't explain the origin enough, which is bad to say for an origin movie, but I still wanted to know more because it dove into like the whole, there was this satanic thing underneath this church and this demon tried to make its way out and then it didn't. And I'm like, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about the nuns shit happening now with the actual nuns. Just dive a bit more. And then, that movie ended with, he's possessed, and then it cuts into the Conjuring stuff now, from like the first movie or whatever. But
very noisy. It's one of the loudest movies I've ever watched. When they're all just like at the end, in
there's
that
a lot of
pool,
screaming.
just like screaming, and it's like,
and the nun's just sort of sitting there, just like staring at it with the mouth open, just screaming, eyes wide open. You're like, do something more.
Because she does look creepy, and you could do so much more scary things with her. Like, even if you just pan down a hallway and she's just hanging out at the end of the hallway.
Which is like what it was in the original Conjuring. When you had those
because that's a really scary image.
It fucking irked me something hard.
But instead, in this one, she just yells at the camera.
Yeah, shadow work works so much better in horror movies.
Yeah,
if you just have
subtlety, it's always subtlety is scary.
Yeah, because if you see something in that corner of the room for just a brief second and enough to notice it, that fucking gets your heart racing a bit.
Like we said about Parasite, that scene.
Yeah,
it's literally like maybe 3 seconds, that image.
Yeah,
and it's burnt into my brain. Because it's so subtle.
So much so you have to send me the fucking photo.
It's my Twitter. It's my Twitter cover photo.
Instantly fucking shat myself going, I want to fucking see this now. It's a photo in my fucking messenger. God damn it. Yeah, I don't know about the Conjuring universe because they're sort of going like up and down with the movies that they're making. Like the Annabelle series. Like you've had 3 Annabelle movies now.
Which is mind-blowing. And that they found 3 movies out of that.
Within it, it's fucking ridiculous because the last one I fucking hated. Annabelle Comes Home.
I haven't seen the last 2. I've only seen the first one.
Fuck. Don't. Okay. Creation is okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Comes Home is a fucking train wreck of a movie. Brooke and my sisters loved it. And I sat there and went, this was dumb. Because the idea of that movie is they're in the Warrens' home, and their daughter, the one's been the 2 that do the exorcisms and all that shit.
Yeah.
Their daughter's getting a babysitter, and she comes in because she knows about the room with all the artifacts and all that are cursed and shit, and wanting to go in there and look at shit. Ends up touching a whole bunch of stuff, releasing all these demons. And it could have worked better when you had all these different demons that they'd caught coming out and fucking with these kids, but it was just a muddled mess.
Yeah, right.
And it was like one demon was helping them to escape this demon, and then
God,
it was
that sounds horrible. I kind of want to watch it now.
It's definitely one that you need to watch just to have that review about it.
Yeah,
because again went to the cinemas to see that one, and I think I went with it was me, Brooke. And then it was like a triple date. I'm pretty sure a triple date. And
that's it. That's what these movies are. Yeah. Date movies.
And like, we'd all seen the other ones. We knew about them and shit. All us boys, after we got out, just went, how the fuck could you take us to that movie? And they were like, what do you mean? It wasn't that bad. And we're like, that was fucking terrible. And it fucking was. It was so hard to watch. It was one of those movies where I was near on the edge of just being like, I'll just walk out and just have a nap in the car if you guys want to meet me after the movies. Not many movies have maybe done that, but that one got close to being on the edge of it.
I don't think I've ever walked out of a movie. Quick tangent. Have you ever walked out of a movie you paid to see?
No. You don't want to know when I was close? Slender Man.
Yeah, I've heard that's fucking awful. I knew it was going to be bad, so I just didn't even bother. We
went there, and not even halfway through, we looked at each other and went, do we just go?
You know why? Favorite studio of the podcast, Sony Pictures. That's what happened.
Yes. Well, I'm going to touch on Slender Man soon, but yeah, other than that, I haven't walked out on any other movie. Have you?
I walked out on Fantastic Four 2, The Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I was young when that movie came out. I was youngish, but I was young. I was old enough to go, this is fucking garbo.
That's when it hit you and went, you know what? I hate movies.
And the third Transformers. When I was...
Fuck, which one was that? Dark of the Moon?
Yeah, Dark of the Moon.
Dark Side of the Moon, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, fuck, I don't remember what happens.
To me, all those Transformers movies are the same.
Anyway.
That's another discussion.
But yeah, so let's wrap up The Conjuring before this recording runs out.
Yeah, true. So
I think an overarching universe doesn't work for horror anymore. It did with Friday the 13th and The Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff.
It has.
I don't know if that's even what they're trying to do.
No, I don't know. It has to come
to a point. Anthology.
It has to come to a point where they know where you need to take a franchise to go with. Like, I don't know. Do you know that movie that came out recently, The Curse of La Llorona?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Conjuring movie.
Part of the universe. No one fucking knew that coming into that movie until the one scene in that movie where it's the same priest that was handling Annabelle, and you're like, why the fuck did you just do that?
Are they gonna like all come together and fight like an end game?
Oh fuck! If that's
Conjuring
something that
Endgame?
happens. You just see like two sides. You just see a side of demons and fucking ghosts, and then you just see the Warrens and all these priests just
You
like.
see the nun pick up Annabelle and just fucking yeet it at them like a football.
I'd be happy if that's how they ended a full Conjuring universe. That'd be fucking brilliant.
Just go full ridiculous.
You just see these priests just start throwing crosses and just all these bottles of holy water and shit. It's the same thing. Fuck me.
There's no other way they can end it. Like, I guess someone has to win. I guess it'll be the Warrens.
You want to know? You want to know why I think they want to keep going? Is because of how much box office they make from this.
Oh, definitely.
Because they distributed so well and the franchise hit well at the start, and people are still going.
Yeah,
they'll just keep going until eventually enough is enough. Because from just under 100 million of budget, they're sitting on like 1.3, 1.4 billion in box office revenue.
It's insane.
That's enough for a horror franchise to be like, yeah, sick, we'll just keep going.
Just go forever.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Why not? But
and then they can just reboot it again in 10 years like they do with everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
They just do The Conjuring again. They take
That
away the
scares
Tsar.
me.
They just call it Conjuring.
That scares me to know that it's very fucking
I
possible.
fucking guarantee. All right, 10 years. Start the timer. 2030, there'll be a movie called Conjuring, and it'll reboot the whole Warren story. Come back in 10 years to this podcast.
Like if you could just hear my heart breaking.
Oh, I saw it.
So
We're not filming it yet, but I got to see it. It was lovely.
You guys will fucking know that this is. That's definitely going to happen, but I think The Conjuring needs to stop, or it needs to have one more really fucking good movie.
It needs another good movie because
Definitely.
it's responsible for all the other movies just getting shut out. It's like, well,
Yeah.
The Conjuring does it. We can make money.
Yeah,
Sony Pictures sees it and goes, "We'll put out Slender Man." People know what Slender Man is. People know who the Warrens are. You know,
Yeah.
you have that association. It'll
they
make
definitely. I'd forgive them to make just one more movie where it wraps everything up and their story is
somehow,
done,
yeah.
and don't end that movie with another little fucking like those little
The
tidbits of
stinger, yeah.
that one person like has that little kid has that smile in the corner of their eye where they're possessed. You
Their
go,
Their
fuck
eyes
off."
go yellow or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be
just don't do that. Just wrap it up. Either one of them dies or
get rid of it.
someone dies and this is stop, and then that's it. Warrens are done. We can be happy with that.
Won't happen.
No, it won't happen. All right. We're going to end the Conjuring universe there. We're going to quickly cut this and start up again.
I need to do a wee. I don't know if that'll make it in the edit, but
I haven't clicked stop yet, so probably.
God damn it.
now.
So I'm going to quickly hijack your episode,
Okay, go for it.
and I'm going to ask you
Yes.
what makes a horror movie scary. Because it's not noise and it's not bangs and jump scares. Because that's startling. That's not scary. That's a different thing.
It's hard because it's how I think it's very personal of how you.
It's entirely
think you can be
subjective.
scared.
Yeah.
Like
Horror is so subjective.
it could be, it could be like a psychological horror.
Yeah.
You could have a horror movie that's more getting into the mind of a person and digging down into their fears, like internally, opposed to seeing a 7-foot bladed demon on the screen coming to kill a bunch of people. I feel like it's just sort of what makes you scared as a person, and you're gonna resonate differently to different horror movies. Like, you can be scared of a select few of horror movies because of one aspect that they share, and then the rest you're like, nah, I can watch that one because it's fine. Like some people get away with like watching a slasher film opposed to like the Conjuring universe or something like that.
Because some people can go, well, this is just a movie. Like,
Yeah,
Freddy Krueger looks stupid as hell.
I think it really.
Whereas other people will be like, holy fuck, I never want to go to sleep again.
Yeah, I feel like there's different types of horror fans out there, and it's going to be no one who likes horror is going to like every single type of horror movie there is. So you could have your 80s horror fans and 70s horror fans and that like the old Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street type movies like that, the older style. That's very practical, very no CGI ruining anything, no jump scares, literally just
Finding a way to
seeing blood.
kill this thing as well. Like,
Seeing
seems
some
like-
sort of plot difference to more these days. So within the last decade, the way you get the horror movies now is people will get scared from jump scares.
jump scares or gore.
Yeah.
Gore seems to be a selling point.
Yeah.
And that's because of Saw and Hostel.
Exactly. And it's hard to resonate with other people now how to scare them, because the generation now is a lot different to how they were back in the day.
Yeah.
But also movies have come so much further than what they did back in those days. So it's trying to find that ground of, how's our movie going to scare someone, or are they just making a horror movie just because it's in that genre and they don't care if they scare anyone or not? They just go, oh, if we just chuck a bunch of random demons killing people and shit and just add nothing else to it, some people will like it and other people won't. Like, it's going to cater to different people differently. It's the only way I can look at it.
So what's an example of a horror movie you've really liked recently? Straight horror. Parasite doesn't count. The Invisible Man doesn't count either.
All right, so because I've seen quite a few decent horror movies, and there's a lot that have been fucking terrible. One that I really, really fucking enjoyed was called The Forest.
Okay.
And that is a movie based on the suicide forest in Japan.
Yeah, right.
And that was with, what's her name? I think it was Natalie Dormer.
Okay.
Chick from Game of Thrones or whatever.
Yeah.
One of them.
I recognize her.
And that movie was fucking brilliant just because it played on a psychological and a demon and a very spiritual sort of plot.
Yeah.
But it was also filmed and acted very, very brilliant.
So it's like super atmospheric. Like,
yeah, it was
if
very,
a movie's called The Forest, I'm imagining being like
really
lost
eerie
in a forest, which is fucking
very
terrifying.
eerie. So it's because all it is, like, the whole film basically is taking place in a forest.
Yeah,
and there's one of those movies where, as I was saying before, there's something in the corner. You see something, like, as the camera's panning past and the person's walking through, and you just see out the corner something in the back somewhere, and you're like, oh, that. But the whole plot of that movie was fucking brilliant. There wasn't like an overuse of CGI or demons or ghosts or anything like that. There was enough, because obviously you're playing with the suicide forest. People go there to kill themselves. It's automatically a ghost movie.
Yeah,
there's going to be the souls of people that have come to kill themselves, because the idea is she's there trying to find a twin sister. It's that she's gone off to the forest because she's feeling down and all this shit or whatever.
Yeah.
So she's worried for her, goes to try and find her, and there's a big twist in the movie. There's enough to be more than a horror movie as just being a good movie.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah, that's what matters.
Yeah,
is if it's a good movie, not just.
Yeah, that's one that I really fucking liked as like a proper horror. Another one that was more recent being, it's not Parasite, but it is also of the Asian descent, Train to Busan.
Yeah, that's been on my list since the day I got Netflix, and I just haven't watched it yet.
That is a zombie movie that makes you cry at the end of it.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Yeah, it's fucked. That is such a good movie for a zombie movie.
I hear about it a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it is huge. And that's one of the movies where I think as well, it wasn't a massive budget, but it did decent for an international box office.
Yeah.
8.5 million and 90 million back in the box.
Jesus.
Which would have had a very limited release because of it being an international movie.
Yeah.
It was more like streaming, and then, like on those World Cinema Day movies.
And that's getting a sequel now. But they've like waited, and
they're getting a sequel, and then they're also getting a Western English version.
No. Great.
As well.
Well, that'll be shit.
No, I think James Wan is doing it.
Ooh.
I think.
There's a name I like.
I know someone was attached to it that was like pretty big, and I think it was old mate Wan. Let's just do a quick little.
The Americans having a crack at foreign movies sometimes just sucks really bad. Like Wreck, that Spanish movie, absolutely phenomenal and horrific. And then within the same year that Wreck came out, they made Quarantine, which is this American remake of it. And it was just bad.
That was terrible.
How they fucked it up so bad. They could have just like reshot and just had it in English, but I don't know. Just, for some reason, it just wasn't as good.
Yeah. Maybe they've taken it off now. Looks like it's being directed by the same guy again that did the first one. Either way, I'm keen for a fucking another one.
Yeah.
But, that's another really, really good one that I watched. There was also one called Cargo Did you ever see that one?
Martin
Float through
Freeman,
Netflix?
that's also on my list. Just because of him, really.
Yeah, another great movie. Just filmed in the Australian outback.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot going on in it. It's very like how it would be in a zombie apocalypse in the outback of Australia.
Yeah, right.
There's fuck all going on out there. So there's fuck all going on in the movie.
Yeah.
But it's just acted really well, and the story is done really well. And that was another one I really enjoyed. I just kept seeing it. I'm like, I got to watch that one. And then I watched it one night just randomly and wasn't disappointed. That one was really good as well.
Yeah, man.
There's a few others, but what of yourself? What have you found in the horror that you've enjoyed?
Yeah, the main one is the one everyone likes. It's Hereditary. I think Hereditary is the best movie I've ever seen. It's not my favorite movie ever, but it's definitely the best movie I've ever seen. Because it's like demon possessions and shit, but it's
just fucked up.
The main word is atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's so fucking tense. And just something's about to happen
it's just
at every moment.
Up.
And usually it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then that's another one, background stuff when she's up in the fucking ceiling and she just
Fuck
walks
me
past.
Up, son. Fuck me up.
When I saw that, I genuinely my mouth went dry and I was just like,
yeah,
what is going to happen? And then again, the scene ends and nothing happens, but it's fucking there and it happens.
It's enough to keep you going. Yeah, that wasn't fucking.
And that's what's scary to me is atmosphere, tension is whatever as long as the tension is built properly, however that tension is released is usually always worth it.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the just jump scare bait movies, they don't earn their tension. It's just here's noise and it's noisy and it's really noisy and you're scared because it's noisy.
Yeah.
That's not fear. That's just being annoyed by noise.
Yeah. The whole thing with those jump scares, it's so easy. All you have to do is slowly get the camera to pan through a house with dead silence and then just have that quick bang of a door opening or something shit like that.
Yeah, it's always a fake out.
Yeah, it's just a massive loud thing where nothing happens, but it's like, you jumped, therefore, horror. See, we got you. Good movie. You like that? No, it's just like, you fucking cunt. And that happens. But, so, yeah, Hereditary definitely was, I think Hereditary sort of is within its own genre in horror.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's so different to anything else. And it's just...
And everyone was like, oh, this is the next biggest thing in horror. That hasn't happened. That director, Ari Aster, did Midsommar.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like Hereditary, but he's allowed to because it's the same director.
Yeah.
And no one else has really copied it.
It's just more fucked up shit. I haven't seen Midsommar yet, but I'm very excited to watch it.
Midsommar is really tough to get through. Speaking of atmosphere and tension.
I've been through some tough movies.
Good Lord.
There's some just absolute utter filth that I've watched. I can watch straight up gore movies like that.
Gore does not faze me at all.
Yeah. You seen the movie The Great Inferno?
Yeah.
That's just fucking...
Isn't that the one where she violently shits herself at the end? Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't know. I can't remember if it's that one. But there's one where the first part where they capture all the students and they take them to the little village and they all think everything's okay and they put one of the dudes on the little sacrificial table and then they just start ripping off all his limbs.
As you do.
And then halfway through the movie, the other guy is just sitting in their cage where they're held captive and starts beating his dick. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing? He's just they're going to kill us, so fuck, I'm just going to jerk off. And I was like, you know what? I can't fault him.
Nah.
He's kind of right.
It'd be hard to perform under those circumstances.
Oh, he didn't care.
Yeah.
He was good to go.
I think I would have other things on my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, but look, he was making light of a bad situation.
Yeah,
and he fucking did. But other gore movies like all the Saw films, I fucking love those.
There is merit to that, but as far as calling it horror, I guess it is horrific to look at.
It's horrific,
if you're
and
going to
then
take it
there's
as literally as you can.
Yeah, I think it's because it's more of it's proper serial killer-y murder style, but it's also I love the whole franchise because it has an everlasting plot that lasted through all the movies except for the last two. But I think that's where Chris Rock is going to really reinvigorate this whole franchise with the new movie coming out.
Because that's the second reboot.
Yeah.
Within 3 years or something. Because Jigsaw wasn't that long ago.
Jigsaw there was too much talk about Jigsaw being what it was actually going to be, and it turned out all you got was it was just something that happened when he first started.
Oh, right.
So it was
so it wasn't even a reboot.
No, it was like you were seeing two sides to a game.
Okay.
And it was one where, because like you got the fake out where it looked like Jigsaw was alive again. And then as the movie progressed through and got to the end, you're like, they tried to do the Saw twist, but it wasn't as hard hitting because you knew for a fact that John Kramer was dead.
Yeah.
And that happened in the fucking fifth movie. And you're like, okay, so then the twist happened, you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
I
guess.
Yeah, right.
That movie flopped and it really didn't add anything to the series, but with Spiral coming out now, that's
because
rebooting my love.
Spiral looks like it's still in universe, but just completely
it's
offset.
Set so far after.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's just the legend of the Jigsaw Killer.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's just like his writings or something, or writings based on.
Yeah, well, because the title is Spiral from the Book of Saw.
Yeah. Which,
who knows what's it going to mean? But seeing that trailer fucking got me so moist after it.
Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully it's interesting. I wasn't as jazzed.
I know. Hopefully it is.
But I'm not that big into it. So.
Yeah. But, yeah, there's a lot of schmuck that you get in some horror movies. And I think that's... Some people just want to make it just a terribly dirty, filthy film.
Yeah, because if you've got, like, gore and stuff anyway, then under the ratings you can get away with some titties and sex. Like, it's always... There's always some sort of sex. There's always some overtly sexual character or situation.
Yeah. And another one that sort of it definitely splits a lot of people is, you know, the film series I Spit on Your Grave?
Yeah.
I don't know if that needs to be a movie.
What do you mean?
It's so fucked up.
Oh, it's just pure... I haven't seen either of them.
Like, so that's a reboot of the old series where you had the original I Spit on Your Grave. I don't even know what that one was about, but I remember when I first saw the reboot, and I didn't even know what it was about. I saw it at the fucking video store, and I just went, yeah, it's a horror movie, and it's got a cool looking cover, and get it, see what happens. And then there's a lot of fucking rape in that movie.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's full on, like, very violent rape of a woman by three guys. The only saving grace is that it's a full redemption arc of she just goes out and absolutely mutilates the guys that raped her. And then
you can do that without the rape.
And then they decided to make two more movies that I have but I haven't seen because the first one was just like, I don't need to know.
Yeah. I've really got to be in my bonnet about rape in movies.
It's a hard one.
I think, like, no amount of villain getting their dues or whatever is worth putting that in.
Yeah.
Like, we can just have a villain that's a gross, bad person without that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if it was just them just going, like, this could add something different to this, you know, this genre, but...
It's just shock value, I guess. Like,
it's very shock value, but it's such a touchy thing to do in a movie.
Yeah, which is why you just shouldn't do it.
And especially the fact that, like, it's not like it was just three guys doing it. Like, one's the sheriff of the town, one's a guy with their fucking next to retarded friend.
Yeah.
And they get him to do it. So you're adding, like, mental disabilities.
Someone who doesn't know what they're doing.
Just thinks he's just having sex.
You don't need
they're going, no, it's fine. Just do it. You got to do it, you pussy. And then it's like, pushing a lot of boundaries here.
Just simply don't. If you're writing a script and you're thinking about that, just don't.
Yeah.
Honestly, just
what you
don't.
Got to do with the person that have to write that fucking script and then go to the actress being like, yeah, so basically,
by the way,
just you got to really pretend like you're actually getting raped.
Yeah. So I would say I'm going to go back and work at Starbucks because it's not...
Yeah, that's just, I'll be happier doing that. There's a lot of shock value comes with it. That's more of like your C grade, B grade movies where there's just no backing, no distribution, no budget, no
studio saying I wouldn't.
Yeah, they just
some fucking
make it as a home video because these guys have a bit of money, like the Human Centipede series.
Yeah, well, that's just like a sex pervert got a camera.
He literally, the second film, he just went, I was going to do the film in black and white.
There's just nothing to those movies. There is, even the shock value is just like, well, South Park made fun of it. So now if you look at it, you just laugh.
Yeah.
Because you think of that scene and you just...
If South Park's able to make fun of you, then you know you flopped.
Yeah.
And you've made something fucking terrible.
And there's no need to fucking do another one.
Like, I saw all three of those movies and they're all they're all on their different levels. Like the first one is, I find the first one to be a very weak movie. It's
it's
more
not
of just
good.
it's more of just the idea of them being in this human centipede, but
It's like
you're not
Truth or
showing
Dare.
it.
You just have an idea.
Yeah.
Like, human centipede. That'd be gross.
Yeah, and you see, and you're like, oh yeah, but you see the bandages, and you don't see much because it's very clean. Yeah, because it's done by this super doctor, whatever the fuck he is. And then you get the second one, which is just straight up filth of this fat little sweaty midget.
I am very ashamed to say that I've seen the first two, and I watched both of them by myself.
Yeah, same. I saw.
I wasn't even like laughing with my friends.
I've seen the second one 3 times.
Jesus.
I don't know why I did, but I did. I was younger then,
Yeah.
and it was because there's so much that they do in that movie that just it's all just for shock value.
Yeah.
But it's also just the writing of these movies is so weird because the second one is the guy, fucking these people up. Watch the first movie. So I was introducing.
Yeah, so it's like super meta. It's like
it's like he's just watched the movie The Human Centipede and going, oh, I can do that too. And then the third movie, they were both movies. So the fucking prison system, the prison guy, whatever the fuck he is in the prison, the main guy, the warden, I've seen the first 2 movies, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? These movies and movies. It's just this weird human centipede inception. And it just seems fucking stupid. And the director of that movie got fucking death threats for a fucking good reason. He's a fucking weird guy.
He's a creep, yeah.
He's a fucking weird guy to make that shit. But there's those types of horror movies I just kind of just want to move out of the horror genre. But just have your own section of film. You just move down into the schmuck corner.
Well, they did for a while. It was like torture porn. That was that was the phrase.
Basically, yeah, when you had the Hostel movies.
Yeah.
And
that's fine. They
can
live there. Like, tells me what I'm not going to watch.
Yeah.
It's no interest in
I don't know. It's a guilty thing where I'll still watch them.
Yeah, right.
It just interests to see what they do. Because I know I can handle it to see it.
Yeah.
But
it's not that I'm bothered by seeing it. I'm just like, I just
have to be really bored to want to watch it because I know I'm not going to get a good movie out of it.
You don't really have to listen. You can just wait till something fucked up is happening.
Yeah.
Look up from your phone and be like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
And go back to Instagram.
Basically. So another, like, a big thing I want to sort of touch on is recognition that horror movies get in, like, award ceremony sort of situations.
Oh, so
like the Oscars
none at all.
and Globes and shit like that. Like, is there just no place for horror in the mainstream world?
That's tough. That's a tough one because movies like Hereditary deserve recognition.
Yeah.
Like, it took them doing Joker for hero, quote unquote, hero comic movies to get recognized.
Yeah.
And I think Hereditary should have done that. The
Yeah.
problem is nothing of the quality of Hereditary happened again.
Yeah. Very
Like,
true.
in the wake of Hereditary, you got like the Halloween remake, which is fine,
Yeah.
but it's not a masterpiece.
No, it's nothing.
There's no real artistic statement.
Yeah.
Whereas Hereditary was like, oh, we can ruin your life with silence and just static shots. Like, we can genuinely get under your skin.
Yeah.
Whereas everything else that come along was still just like, oh, we need a jump scare here, we need a slasher, we need something. And, if you do get 100 Hereditaries, then we'll have this conversation again going, fuck me, they're doing another Hereditary. Like, what are they? It's just saturation is the problem.
Yeah.
And it's quantity over quality. They're not putting as much love into horror as they should.
Yeah.
Especially remakes. Remakes are so fucking lazy now. Like, that Halloween movie was really fucking lazy.
We'll get into those remakes. Just on the touch of those awards, the only movie to be recognized and win Best Picture in horror at the Academy Awards is Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, right.
It was the only film to ever win Best Picture in horror.
You wouldn't even I wouldn't call that a horror movie.
And they say, even most people say that's not really a horror. It's
psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that movie won, and then I think there was 5 other nominations ever in the history of the awards.
That's crazy.
So it speaks a lot. But yeah, remakes is fucking. I don't know if I love or if I hate them. If it's just both.
I detest remakes,
especially in horror.
Yeah,
I feel like too many companies think it's a safe option.
Yeah,
to just remake something from old.
Yeah, because they've already got the outline of what they do with the story.
They've got material. There's technically already a fan base for it.
Yeah.
So they know that people are going to come to see it and what the iteration is. Why do they keep fucking it up?
I don't know how they take the same premise and just completely ruin it.
It should be so easy because
it's there. It's already there. It's done.
And your old sources, it's so old and the quality is so much different. You should be able to just pick up the new 4K cameras and 8K cameras now and make it look better. Just do the same thing and it'll be fine. But no, they just make it too modern now.
Yeah.
Where they want to completely change.
And it's hard to even explain. Everyone listening to this knows exactly what we mean.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to explain.
Yeah. You can't explain it to be why. It's just
because they put the same fucking characters, the same character stereotypes. There's the shy nerdy girl. She'll be the hero.
Yeah.
We know she'll take off her glasses and overcome the worst stuff.
Yeah.
Because she's the shy nerdy girl. You wouldn't expect that. You have the super sex pervert guy who's every single line he says is some horrible sex assault, fucking just horrible thing. You have the jock. There's always the football player who's just there to fuck. The bimbo, she's another character. Every single horror remake has that.
Yeah.
And Friday the 13th, that came out 10 years ago now, maybe.
About that.
That's a fine movie.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
That is those character stereotypes. That's it's done so overbearingly that you can almost trace it back to that.
Yeah.
And Final Destination movies have it as well.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry.
They're their own.
God, I threw up in my mouth when I said Final. No. Yeah, it's just you still have these iconic slasher characters, but what you put in with those iconic slasher characters are just fucking annoying other characters that exist who just get killed, so you can't invest anything of your, no matter how high or low your IQ is, you can't put yourself in that movie and go, I'm rooting for Sarah.
Yeah.
They're always called Sarah. You can't go, I'm rooting for her because you're well, she's just cannon fodder unless she's the cute, nerdy girl because she's going to survive.
Yeah.
We know. And then when it ends, there's no shock because you're well, I picked her from the start. The jock's going to die in some ironic way. He'll be tough guy running.
Yeah.
He'll get killed. He'll die in some ironic way. So you call it from the second you meet the characters, and as soon as that happens, you're out of the movie.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you're going, I'm just watching a dumb, boring. I'm just waiting for the next kill so I can be oh, that was pretty interesting how his arms got ripped off or whatever. And it's not interesting at all. It's you watch a movie to be immersed, to fall into that world and to go for 2 hours, I'm not Jack, I'm not Adam, I'm just a fly on the wall in this world that exists. But the world doesn't exist because it's just the same script.
Yeah.
Cross out Freddy, write Jason.
Yeah.
Done. Remake, $1 billion.
So there's one movie that I fucking love that falls into the comedy horror genre that sort of takes the piss at that, what you're talking about there with the stereotype of the characters, the jock, the dumbass bimbo, the gay person, whatever.
Yeah.
Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Cabin in the Woods.
I was thinking that as well.
Fucking love Cabin in the Woods.
That's another fucking great example of it. But Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is the perfect two-sided story of the fucking stereotype that is college kids going away into the forest for the drinking, camping weekend.
Yeah, right.
Where these two rednecks have just purchased this old rundown cabin just out in the bush somewhere, and they're going out there to go do it, fix it up, make it all nice and have it as their holiday house.
Yeah.
And at the same time, these college kids are going out to the same forest just to get drunk, smoke weed, whatever, have a party.
Do the horror movie thing.
So it's conflicting back and forth between these kids, where these kids think that these rednecks are like your stereotypical inbred killers that are coming to fucking murder you, and the fat redneck falls in love with one of the girls and is like sort of like watching her dive into the creek and that, and then her friends come along and think that like she fell and knocked her head and knocked unconscious, so he got her out of the water and put her in a boat to get her out of the water. Her friends, you cut to her friends and they think they're kidnapping her.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So
that's cool. That's like doing something new and different.
It's so fucking hilarious. Alan Tudyk is in it, the guy that does the voice of every single robot in every movie there is now. And another guy, I can't remember his name. He's not as into much, but it's then the story of these kids think that they're going to rescue their friend from these rednecks because they're going to kill her or rape her and all this shit. And they're just like, what are these college kids doing? Like, we're just trying to fix up our house here and then we just help this lady.
I like that.
And it is like, I recommend that movie.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it.
Have a good watch.
That sounds fucking hilarious.
Don't watch it for like a plot movie.
Nah.
Just as it's a good funny side to the stereotypical.
If it's taking the piss, like
that's
you're there taking the piss with it.
That's all it is, because it does jump from scene to scene of being within those two realms, and it's fucking brilliant. Okay, yeah. So we'll touch on a bit more, but there's so much in the horror world that just still can be done, but I don't know if we're ever going to get it.
Isn't being done.
Yeah. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's directors don't want to try and take on the task, or studios just still don't give a fuck about the genre, or if there's just, they think, I don't know. I feel like there's still a gap for good horror movies to be made, but no one wants to take the step to try and really think about.
Hollywood is a game of trends.
Yeah.
So you got to wait for the next wave to come along and for people to really care about horror again.
Yeah.
The Conjuring did try to do that and it worked for a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely got there.
But I mean, fuck. Like, are we ever going to leave the era of the comic book hero? Like, we are so deep in that era now.
I feel like it's going to be a long time until we get out of it. Because
we always talk about fatigue, and it's just like, oh, we're not fatigued because we're still going to every one.
Yeah, no. They were able to make a genre of nerds and fucking virgins to now being complete mainstream. Yeah. Everyone fucking sees these movies. And it doesn't matter if they've read the source material or what, they'll fucking see it because they're great movies. Yeah. And I think that wave is just still going to ride through as long as Kevin Feige is alive.
Yeah. So they need, if Spiral is good, if Spiral is not even if it's just good.
Yeah.
If it's just good, that could kickstart something, maybe going back to other properties.
Especially that they see it as Chris Rock has written this movie. He's also starring in it, and Samuel Jackson is in the movie.
Yeah.
If you see Samuel Jackson is now jumping into a horror franchise, surely some people are going to think, ooh, maybe I could dip my toes in there.
My theory is he's going to be in it for like 8 minutes, and he'll be the first death, I reckon. Because they put him in the trailer so much, I was like, this is fishy.
Plus, and the best thing they did was they got him to say motherfucker in the trailer.
No, of course they did.
So you're like, well,
I don't think they got him to say it. I think he just did it, and they're like, nah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone, they go, look, Samuel, like,
Jackson got a Jackson.
You can't say motherfucker in this movie. And he was back, okay, I won't say it. Gets in the movie and just goes, motherfucker.
It's like that was his first word on set.
Yeah, always. And they're like, fucking Samuel Jackson, motherfucker.
So I think either, it's going to be another reboot. The next wave will be more reboots.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting Candyman again. Who the fuck cares about Candyman? Like, Jesus Christ.
Jordan Peele is doing it.
Yeah, apparently. He's only producing it.
Yeah. Okay, that could change things
and then we're getting another Saw movie. God knows what The Conjuring are going to do. Insidious,
they've definitely got more coming.
Insidious reckon they're done, but you never know.
So that should be done, but
yeah.
Because Lee should stop with that. Yeah. Like, he directed the third one and then just went back to writing the fourth one, and then they all said, all right, that one was okay. This is probably where it should stop for this franchise. So if he's smart, he should stop it there. But I think James Wan will just be like, oh, no, I'm just going to keep going with the Conjuring shit.
Yeah.
They'll move with that for so much. and they'll get it. They'll keep making more.
Yeah.
Um,
And I don't see anyone creating a new slasher icon. I just don't see it happening.
so
I don't see another Freddy happening again.
no, to create a character like that is going to be hard. Ooh, excuse me, for anyone to make. Like, I think it's nowadays. There's not many horror characters that are iconic.
Not anymore, no.
Where you see people going out and dressing up as that character for Halloween or something.
Yeah.
The
Nun did have that.
The Nun has that.
Yeah.
I have the mask in my cupboard,
Yeah, exactly.
and I've used it, and it's fucking amazing. But there's no other, like, you can't look back at anything in the last 10 years and be like, that's an iconic character.
Nope.
Like, you have your single horror movies where you have great characters, like in Hereditary.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get anyone dressing up as anyone from them.
No.
Yeah, you're not going to get anyone else from the Conjuring universe. You're not going to get anything from the Sinister series, from the Insidious series, from Saw. Like, well, Saw, you'll always get someone trying to dress up as the clown anyway. But you get, like, looking at my list of movies that I wanted to touch on, I'm looking at these movies and going, there's no characters there that are iconic.
Pennywise, maybe, but even that's a reboot.
It's a reboot. It's just another iteration.
The second one was a stinker, a big stinky stinker.
You know what? They were the first films on my list and we didn't touch on them. I want to touch on them. So that it reboots.
Very good. The first one is very, very good.
Yep.
Because the kids are very, very good and they
Very
have
good.
genuine chemistry.
Yep.
So you actually feel for them. Everyone's been that little fat kid in love with a girl.
Yep.
And
Still
the girl
some new
doesn't.
kids on the block.
Yeah, the girl loves someone else. Everyone's been that kid.
Been there. We've all been there.
So even if you weren't scared by the big spooky clown, the big loud clown, you're like, well, this has a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And then the second one is just awful. Just a piece of shit. Just
I like it, man.
It goes for about 4 weeks. It doesn't need to.
It's a long watch. It's a fucking long watch, but...
And even then, they have to keep cutting back to the fucking kids because they were like, well, they like that in the first one.
Yeah. I know the second one had faults, but I still like that movie. There's things I definitely would have changed in it, and there's things that could have been done differently, and definitely the runtime should have been shorter. But I still really like the performances of Bill Hader, James McAvoy. I still love them.
Good cast, very good cast.
Casting was there, and they acted it brilliantly. But yeah, it definitely was here and there. But I still like that. I was still good. But those are two movies that had bigger budgets.
Yeah.
But also fucking raked in a shitload of money. So the first one cost $35 million. They raked in $700 million. Second one was a bit of a switcheroo. $79 million budget, $473 back. But you look at that as a full, put them together, it's $100 million against $1 billion. So profits there, but obviously they went into a lot more of
and
a bigger cast.
The first one was riding on the Stranger Things wave. We were talking about waves.
Yeah, those kids fucking hit it hard.
You realize that kids can be good actors.
Mm-hmm. Nowadays, 100%.
So you literally get one of the kids from Stranger Things to put on the poster. And by fuck, it worked.
Yeah, fucking worked for sure. But again, it's another reboot.
It's just a reboot. Yeah,
it's another fucking reboot.
Sure, it's done pretty differently.
It's one of the better reboots.
Oh, absolutely,
100%.
I love that first movie.
Because if we touch on the Halloween reboot that we got recently, that for me that wasn't good.
It was fine. It was serviceable, but it was just boring.
But the thing, because like the issue for me was when they came out and said, "Oh, it's a reboot, but it's also a sequel to the original."
Yeah, it tripped over its toes a lot.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
what do you mean it's a sequel to the original? But we already had Rob Zombie remake him twice, and now this one, but it's a sequel to a film from 30 years ago. What? And then I got it and I was like, you've waited too long because now what's her face is this fucking old and now all this time has passed and you just go, oh, if we just keep him in this mental hospital for so long, then it's like, it works out. No, it doesn't.
Well, not really. Not if you think for 1 second.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Probably be dead, but whatever.
Yeah.
That
movie had a lot of things wrong with it.
Yeah, it was,
Because like I'm one of those people. I love Rob Zombie's remake, the first one more than the second one. But he's just a weird guy that just
he's a fucking
put
weirdo.
too much gore in there. But I liked it.
He has a very distinct style.
Yeah, for the minority of movies that he's done, he's definitely impactful in the horror universe of it. But yeah, most movies now coming out are just going to be the same, recycled shit. You get your possession movies, you get your haunted house movies.
Yeah, it's just like 3 scripts and they just liquid paper some stuff out,
Yeah,
change a little bit.
Change the name of the characters, change the demon's name.
They will always have Netflix as the backup. Like if Paramount don't want to push a movie, they can just go, here you go, Netflix, $10.
Could that be the future? Is it going to be more based streaming service-wise?
Yes.
Is it just going to be Netflix?
Yeah, 100%.
Getting the rights to so many different properties and then just going, all right, let's make this. Because they seem to just quickly pump out a movie.
On the cheap, 6 months turnarounds, yeah.
Like, it's very rare I hear of, like, you see an article of saying Netflix have opted to adapt this and plan on this movie coming out. You sort of just, like, eventually get a trailer and then you see, like, oh, that's pretty decent. And then you see it and it's like Netflix and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And Netflix do that thing where they release a trailer and go, oh, by the way, it's out next Friday. Like, they don't have that window.
Yeah, there's no
marketing.
Full marketing
because you don't need to market Netflix. Everyone already has Netflix.
No, because the way they market it is they just put it on the home screen of your page as soon as you load up Netflix. Boom, there it is.
Which is that fucking Eli movie. It's always right there at the top, and it's just like it's a garbage movie,
that was
but
a fucking bad movie.
It's always right there.
That movie really fucking irked me so hard because we watched that movie on the basis of my sisters going, it's a fucking good movie. So we watched it, and it came to that twist at the end where you're like, kid's not sick, he's just a fucking son of Satan.
Yeah.
Literally. And you're going, what?
Why?
What?
Why?
You just set up the whole movie that this kid was sick and gave nothing else away that there was anything
he doesn't
demonic
do anything with his powers or anything. He has Satan powers.
No, eventually he just starts
do more with it.
He just starts spinning everyone upside down in the fucking room.
So boring.
And then the mum is just okay with everything because she obviously fucks Satan.
Yeah.
And then Satan's just fucked heaps of other people because there's the chick that is the daughter and is technically the sister in a way. And then it just goes off like they're just going to go and wreak havoc on the world.
Yeah.
How did this movie just end?
I can't imagine caring about that movie.
No.
I can't imagine being passionate about that movie.
No, it's...
Because the people who made it weren't passionate about it.
Like, it was leading up to being an okay movie if it followed where it was going. But just that turn of events was like, oh, yeah, no, that twist wasn't worth the wait. I wasn't shocked.
No.
I was more pissed off than anything. And that's...
At least it's relatively short. I'll give it that.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the shorter ones. But there's so many other movies out there that just keep fucking irking me. But I feel like for every 5 shit movies that come out in horror, they'll get one good one. Hopefully. Seems to be sort of...
I think that ratio is getting a bit longer. I think it might be 1 in 10.
Yeah.
But I don't watch a lot of horror movies, so I'm not really an expert.
Yeah. No, like... When I watched The Girl on the Third Floor last night, that was just a spur of a... No, maybe it'd be something for me to talk about today on the pod. And all I can say is that movie has too much cum in it.
Oh, no.
And, not like it's coming out of the guy. No, it's coming out of, like, the wall sockets and the shower head. And it doesn't.
No one wants to see cum.
Basically, anyone who has that movie come up on their fucking Netflix page to watch it, don't fucking watch it.
Can we title this episode "No One Wants to See Cum"?
Like, my mum messaged me yesterday. She's like, "Have you seen that Girl on the 13th Floor movie?" I was like, "It's the 3rd floor, but no, and I don't think you should." So I just went, you know what? I'll watch it tonight, and I'll tell you if you should watch it. And as soon as I saw the first bit of cum, I've just gone, "Mum, don't watch this movie. You will not like this." And that movie is so stupid. It is mainly portrayed by CM Punk, who's one of the best wrestlers of all time. Decides to do a bit of acting in a horror movie and just does fuck all. The whole movie is him renovating a house.
Ugh.
An old whorehouse.
I would just watch that as a reality show. CM Punk doing up a house? Fuck yeah. Him just talking to the camera, that'd be awesome.
It's like he's renovating this house. His wife's having a baby, but she's back home until he fixes his place up ready to go. And just this slightly weird stuff happens. It's just a bunch of marbles just keep rolling around the house. And you're like, that's weird. Doesn't lead to anything straight away. And when it does, it's not even worth the payout. But you'll see the trailer, there's this weirdly disfigured, fucked up face, mutant looking woman.
Yeah.
You see her about 3 times in the movie.
Oh, good.
And she's not even the main focus.
That's what they got to do, man.
It's more normal people.
Put the monster in the trailer and then never show the monster.
Yeah. And for them to actually kill the monster at the end for one of the scenes it's in.
I think we'll see a lot more horror series like The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
Did really well. Stranger Things, of course.
Stranger Things.
Massive phenomenon.
On there in a way.
You would call that horror.
You could, yeah. It's got its aspects, yeah.
Season 1 and 3 at least.
It's hard because
season 2 was doing.
It's hard because you're looking at it because it's kids portraying it, but it's also a lot of comedy in the movie in the series as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of like.
It's got its demons and all that, and it is focusing on a larger demonic scale, but it is kids being really fucking funny, and those kids, all of them, fucking killed their roles.
But I just think they'll try more with series.
I think they can pay out more with series.
Which is good because then you have time to flesh out a story. If you do it right,
then you can focus on.
You don't have to cram it in 2 hours.
Because there's been a few good horror series out like through the years and that.
I said horror series and then I could immediately not think of any.
I've said the same. I'm thinking now. There's one I can remember. It was called Fraser Island.
Okay.
And no, not Fraser. Fucking Harper Island. Sorry, it's called Harper Island. And it was more of just like a slasher series, but it was very horror style. It was only 1 season, but I really liked it. It was a good one, and that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah,
it was an older one, but it's definitely a pathway that they should take into horror now.
Yeah,
and like because as you said,
so they can do more with it.
Yeah, as you said, Haunting of Hill House is a perfect example. Was it 8 or 10 episodes?
Something
like that. It was a decent run. The plot extended immensely throughout the whole thing.
I need to finish it.
Have you not finished it?
I haven't finished it, no.
I'll tell you this, it ends differently to what you'd expect it to end like. Yeah, right. It's a bit of a tonal change.
Because they announced season 2 before it finished, and I was just like, all right, well, obviously.
Yeah, definitely finish watching it, but
it's
tonally different to how it flows through the rest of the series in a good way.
Okay.
I don't think it was bad how they ended it. It's definitely in a good way, but it was just different for horror. But definitely something. It's something that more places should look at and be like, okay.
Especially Netflix, like they're good at that.
Yeah,
they're good at series.
Well, they've done a few like documentary style ones. They did like what was it called? I think it was called Haunted, and it was like the short story one of people retelling like weird events that happened to them in their life. Of like being haunted or fucking they see shit.
Yeah, I think I watched all of that.
Yeah, they had some really interesting shit in there.
Yeah.
And, you could adapt that more now, just make proper fictional stories and shit, and non-fictional. And, it could be a good thing for the horror genre. Yeah, something completely different. And
breathe something different into it.
Eventually you could click on and then you can start pumping out movies. Like you could do the series and then make a movie after it.
Yeah.
You can do something. There's room for improvement in the genre.
Yeah, just do a knockdown rebuild.
Yeah.
Stop doing Possession.
Just stop rebooting and stop making Possession films. And Conjuring, just stop in general. As we said, we want our Avengers-style Conjuring end.
Just have a rest, even. Like Star Wars, remember they were like, yeah, we're going to take a big break. That's not happening. Like,
no.
Look at what happened with The Rise of Skywalker. Everyone's like, what?
Most people were like that. I saw it 3 times in the cinemas. I think it's a great movie. It had its issues. Yes, I know. But that is for another discussion.
We should do that next.
You might... Star Wars?
Yeah, I might watch that and we'll do Rise of Skywalker next.
Just Rise of Skywalker.
Just Rise. And you have to explain to me why it wraps it all up nicely. That's a fucking good idea.
It's a fucking great idea, but it's going to make so many people angry.
Good.
Because I'm going to have to explain to you 8 films plus 2 spin-offs.
Good.
To lead up to this point, because this is the end of it all.
Good. All right. Stay tuned for that.
Fuck. This is going to be fun. All right. Well,
like the horror genre, I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, basically, this has been a long talk about horror, but there's just so much you can talk about with it because it is terrible and it is great. And I don't know if there's hope for the future in horror, but I'll still keep watching.
Yeah, either way,
horror
they'll
movies.
keep.
Either way, Netflix are going to keep putting out the movies and putting it on my homepage, and I'll go,
Yeah,
all right, fuck it, I'll watch it. There's one sitting on there called Polaroid that I keep scrolling past, and I'm like,
that can't be good. I already know what it's about.
So do I, because I read the
title.
I read the plot already,
okay.
so I know exactly what happens.
Just hearing the title, I'm like, yeah, whatever. The
Yeah.
Polaroids come to life, or whoever shows up in the Polaroid dies. It'll be something.
It's
like
literally they take a photo of someone, whoever they take a photo of, there's like a shadow in the back, and that's like that's the person they're gonna kill. And they take like a couple of them, and they say wherever the shadow is, that's who's next
Oh my god!
to be killed. And I've gone, okay, I know what happens now. I need to see it happen, and I don't know if I'm ready for it yet, but I'll get there eventually because Netflix, you got me, and I will watch it.
Yeah, that sounds truly awful.
Yeah, as most of them are. All right, well, thank you for listening to this one, guys. It's definitely a different one for us. We just wanted to sort of more focus on a more topical subject, not just focus on one movie where
It's also because there's been nothing to watch.
Yeah,
Nothing's really
nothing new's come out yet. I know. I'm going to see Jay and Silent Bob reboot next week.
Bond got pushed back. I was looking forward to doing Bond, but it's been delayed. So
yeah, we don't want that virus happening,
via the movie screen.
Exactly right. There's not much else, but if you guys are into this shit, we can always change to do another genre because there's so many different genres out there, or maybe even a franchise we can do.
I like the idea of doing a franchise.
Yeah, franchise could definitely be good, like a longer franchise in something. Rather be good. We'd probably do Fast and Furious.
Yeah, you have mentioned that.
Yeah, I know. Because I
did die inside.
All right. Well, thanks anyway, guys.
Let us know. Just say
just leave us feedback. This is one that most people should be able to listen to because we're not spoiling anything huge. It's just talking about the movies in general. It's just fun to do that shit. But if you guys have any recommendations, you want us to do something, we're fucking all ears because we hate thinking of shit to do.
God, if I have to use my brain for even 1 second,
that's a fucking recipe for
show.
Disaster. It's going to be a bad time for me. But yeah, just let us know anyway. So on that note, I think we'll end it and say thank you for listening to the You Like That podcast, where I am Adam.
And I am Jack.
And we're out.